You're listening to The Business Focused Photographer. If you're ready to transform your photography business into a thriving career, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll discuss fun and innovative ways to boost your creativity and income. Sound good? Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm here with Christi Johnson. Christi is the co-owner, which I think is so cool and interesting. She co-owns a photography business called Stephanie and Christi. They are based in Greenville, South Carolina, so same time zone as me, which is always nice when recording. She is the founder of Dream Biz Lab. Cool name. It's a group coaching program, a membership for creative and neurodivergent entrepreneurs, because we are in the middle, like smack dab in the middle of ADHD Awareness Month, which is so fun for me to talk about. So after Christi was diagnosed with ADHD and experienced a mental health crisis, she changed the course of her business, and she now dedicates herself to helping her clients create more ease, income, and joy on their terms. Very important, right? Through strategy that works with their brains and not against it. I'm all for it. And when she's not taking pictures, coaching, you're going to find her hanging out. Get it ready for this. 25 nieces and nephews, but also playing the piano or recording episodes of her own podcast, the Dream Biz Podcast. So welcome, Christi. Yay.
Jill, thanks so much for having me. So fun to be here, especially during ADHD Awareness Month. I love this.
Yeah, I do too. I really do too. And I found you by looking for business coaches, photography business coaches that specialized in coaching others with ADHD. But then it turned out we had some really cool mutual connections, as happens because we really do have a pretty small industry when you pull back. So, but it was further confirmation that you were a solid guest and a really awesome person to have on. So welcome to the show. You want to give us anything of interest regarding your background and origin story before we get started?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I would love to tell you. And I love what I do. It's so fun. I love that I get to help people who are creative and neurodivergent. But it all started with my photography business that I started in 2009. So I'm going on 16 years of being a photographer. I was a wide-eyed 16-year-old, really into taking photos. Yeah. Yeah. I started because I wanted to take pictures of my favorite rock bands at concerts. And I really thought I was like going to go on a whole photojournalism side quest, as we do. We like side quests as people with ADHD. Yes. But instead, I went on a classical music side quest. So I ended up getting a master's degree in piano performance. And during that time in college and graduate school, I was doing photography. And I was also coaching swimming and teaching piano because I didn't like to be bored as a person with ADHD. You know, we're always like, feel like we're being driven by a motor. We just go, 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 go. So I was just constantly going. And it was so fun. I enjoyed it immensely. And then when I got married, I was like, wait, I have to like not do all of this because I want to spend time with you. Like I need to kind of slow down a little bit, which was something I had never done in my life. So I slowed down to focus solely on photography at that time. It's incredible, so much fun. I was really, really enjoying it. Then my husband and I ended up moving to California, and so I wanted to take my business remotely. And so that's when I started getting into coaching and helping other business owners. It's been a very long journey with a lot of twists and turns, some mental health crises along the way. And now what I do is I spend my time part-time doing Stephanie and Christi photography with my sister-in-law, which is so much fun. And now also coaching for creative and neurodivergent entrepreneurs. So yeah, that's a little bit about my background.
You're super interesting. Wow.
Oh, thanks.
Sidebar, my husband also has his degree in performance.
I love that.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the starving artist and I was supposed to be the teacher, and we flip-flopped, and now he is a music teacher and I'm not starving as it happens, but I am the freelance artist, and it's pretty awesome. That's so cool. Oh, tell me, I also, because of him, got started. Part of my start in photography was photographing his band, and his band would go to these, be part of these big shows like Bamboozle and like these other music festivals. And I would end up photographing some really, really cool and noteworthy musicians. Who were the bands that you wanted to photograph?
Okay, it's very niche because I grew up super Christian. So it is Switchfoot and Reliant K were my 2 top bands.
Yeah, but I
Oh.
remember them. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that
yeah.
niche. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was there, I was fangirling hard, taking photos anywhere that I could. That's the reason that I got my first DSLR camera was because I wanted to get better photos of Matt Thiessen from Reliant K because I was obsessed with him.
And then you had to give up that little dream because
Yeah,
you
no.
found an actual human to marry, right?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, no, he fully supports it. No, thankfully, by the time I met my husband, who's also named Matt, actually, it was just meant to be with a Matt. Oh my gosh. No, he fully supports all of my dreams, but by the time that I had met him, I was already out of graduate school when I met my husband, actually. So I had gone through my, swim coaching years, piano teaching years, and graduate school, so I'd kind of moved on. I still very much enjoy music, but when we met, I wasn't doing the whole concert thing anymore.
Yeah, it is a different age bracket too.
Yeah,
Like even now I say I'm not general admission years old anymore. I cannot buy those tickets for the most part.
100%.
Like and you mean sitting when I go to
I
see Nine
need to
Inch
sit.
Nails, like
Yes.
yeah, awesome. I love that. And I think that it's not that surprising that you're also a musician, that you've had several acts as far as your career and your interests go, but to figure out probably that you could be a self-driven creative person who is highly profitable was probably like a eureka moment for you as somebody with ADHD.
100%. I remember I've never had a other job working for someone else outside of my swim coaching and lifeguarding stints that I did in the summer, and I did some swim coaching in the fall and winter months too, but I've never really worked for someone else because from a very young age, in high school was like, why would I go get a job as a piano teacher or as a photographer for your studio when you're going to take a cut from my profits when I could just go out and do this myself? So that was kind of always my vibe. And I was like, almost a no brainer to just do it myself. So that's what I did.
Yes. My whole rationale was if somebody else can do it, then why can't I?
Mhm.
Which
Yep.
is ballsy. Especially at the time that I like conceived of this idea. Like my frontal lobe was not closed yet. Like I was in no position to be assuming these things, but I did. It was a good thing that I had that willful ignorance about it. But yeah, it is. Yeah, like why should I give you any cut of my pay? Yeah. So cool, cool. But and then you went in. Wait, are you in California right now and not South
N
Carolina?
No,
Okay,
I forgot that part. We moved back during the pandemic, so my
got it.
husband's job went remote, he's in software engineering, so he went remote, and we moved back to be closer to our 25 nieces and nephews.
Yeah, rightfully so. And I think that there's a lot of tech being moved into the Carolinas anyway. Not
Actually,
that
yeah,
he needs, yeah, which I have some friends down there that are saying there's like these buildings and developments going on. So that's cool. I love it. But now you're coaching and you specifically do well coaching neurodivergent people.
yeah.
Um, what do you think it is diving right into this? What do you think it is that we as a neurotype need? And there's so many different flavors, right, of neurodivergence, but what do you think it is that we all need more than your average coaching client?
We 1000% need more dopamine. We need to have fun. We need to not feel like we're boxed in and that other people are controlling what we do. So we need time freedom. We need freedom to follow our passions and we need the freedom to go on our side quests because there's such a big part of what fuels our creativity and our problem solving and creative thinking skills. And whenever neurodivergent people kind of get like boxed, at least in my experience from what I've seen, I don't have like concrete data, but anecdotally, what I've seen is that when we get boxed into rigid structures and rigid ways of working, it immediately leads us to burnout. And it's very important for us to protect our fun, our joy, our peace, and like our time freedom to be able to follow our side quests.
Yeah. Side quests are everything. And it's that the novelty that comes or the dopamine that comes from novelty is
Mm.
unique.
Oh, yeah.
You listened to my last episode with Elena, you said, and I was telling her about my idea garage. We're like,
Yep.
because I get a lot of side quests.
Yes.
And I like sometimes they are the best distraction at a for something that I really do need to do, like my bookkeeping or my taxes or something like that. And I will all of a sudden have a new website instead of doing the thing that I need to do. So I've started making myself put things, especially during a time like this when I'm very busy, in like a note on my phone, like, here's my idea garage, and then revisit. Because yes, this might be a really good idea and this might be a really fun side quest to think about. But it very often I am very strategic without knowing about coming up with like the most complex distractions for myself when I really am avoiding. My part of my I don't know if it's an ADHD related thing is I am so avoidant. I can be so task avoidant sometimes. So yeah, so how do you build in the fun and the dopamine surges and everything like that into a business that does really require a lot of consistency for us to be successful?
Yeah, that's a great question because, like I mentioned, side quests are really important to us. And also, they can be a huge distraction and kind of prevent us from doing the things that we actually need to get done. So, really, what I do to help people build in more fun is we think about, okay, what are the things that actually motivate you to get stuff done? What are the things that actually energize you and bring you energy where you feel, oh my goodness, I just couldn't believe I spent 3 hours, hyper focusing on this task. So, I really want all of your business to feel like something that you could spend 3 hours hyper focusing on because you love it so much. So we really focus on getting very clear about what you actually wanna do with your time, not just what you think you should do. This is a big problem that I ran into. I spent a little bit of time, very short stint, running a creative agency, and that's what immediately led me into burnout and my mental health crisis because I thought that it would scratch that creative itch because I love getting things done. I love being busy. Elena was talking about how busyness is something that's really important to us as people with ADHD. And so I thought that I could get it out of that business and growing a team and everything, but it really was draining my energy and sucking the life out of me because it was something that I thought I should do or could do, not something that I actually really, really wanted to do. So
Right.
we really get clear on like, what do you want to do? And like, your idea garage, what things are you doing what things are you putting on your idea garage? And when you go out there, what are you working on that is avoiding that task that you need to do? And how can we kind of take some of those like triggers that are kind of pushing you into that creative flow? How can we bring those into your business, even on the things that you don't want to do? So we talk a lot about like what motivates you to get stuff done when you have to get that difficult task that you don't want to do done. How have you done it in the past? Has it worked out for you, or how has it not out for you where it felt really terrible? So a lot of like this or that questions and things like that. So really it's taking the core of like your interest and like your creative hobbies and things and being like, well, why do you like that? And can we apply that into your business tasks so that more of your tasks are actually your tasks where you're like, oh, I can't wait to do this. So that more of them are things where you could just at any given day pick, oh, these are the things I want to do on my list. I want to do this today. So it looks like a lot of what does play look like for you when you're just having fun and playing? And also, how can we get your schedule to be flexible enough to allow you the time to follow those rabbit trails and that squirrel brain and those things. So it really comes down to what are your interests, what is really fun for you, what's going to give you that dopamine, and how can we engineer your schedule in a way that allows you to do this. So both of those things working together.
Cool. That you're hitting on some things that are making me reflect. And something I've realized about myself recently is one of the reasons that I have like hated shooting weddings for so long or events is not so much the work itself. Normally it's a good vibe, there's good energy, the photos can be really fun to create. It's knowing that I have to work from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Knowing that I'm not in control of when I get to stop and that I have to keep going. I think that is like I am so feral at this point. Sorry, squeaky chair. I am so feral at this point as a worker that to go in knowing that I have to work for a set number of hours that somebody else has decided is crippling for me. And so that's a really interesting the need for a flexible schedule I think is huge for me. Huge. Yeah, and to be able to but the other thing that you had me thinking is, so what about those things that we're avoiding? What about the things that are not fun, but that need to get done? Or are we outsourcing? What are we doing?
That's a great question, and I would say to your point of being at a wedding and having to be there for all those hours, you don't have that flexibility. That's a situation where you have to ask, like, what is more important to you? Is going to these weddings more important? And do you get that creative energy and can you kind of deal with that frustration? Or is it a sign that you need to shift into something that does
Oh,
allow
no,
more?
I don't shoot weddings. This is why I don't shoot
Okay,
weddings. Yeah,
great. Okay,
because I feel
great.
like
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, if that's something that's coming up for the listeners, like, that's where I would do some serious soul searching of like, is this actually fueling your joy or is it stealing from it? And if it's
right,
stealing from it, you have to give yourself the permission to not do it anymore
right.
because your mental health and how you feel about your business, to me, is number one priority. So, then to your question of like, how are you actually doing those things? Are we outsourcing? What are we doing? Great question. Yes, outsourcing is obviously a very easy answer. However, it also does require a lot of time and also a lot of tasks that sometimes people with ADHD really don't like doing because you really do have to follow through with training another person. You have to spend a lot of time doing potentially tedious tasks of like writing an SOP, which
Yeah.
is so boring.
And it's so hard for us sometimes to reverse engineer how we do things. We don't
Oh,
always
yeah.
understand how we do things.
Yeah, 100%. So I have a few different strategies that I teach my clients, and it really just also depends on who you are and what, like I said, what motivates you, what energizes you. So, one thing that I teach all of my clients is we create a joy menu, and it is a flexible menu of activities that you can do to increase your joy throughout the day. And it's broken up into appetizers, entrees, and desserts. And the appetizers take 5 minutes or so, 5 to 15 minutes. They don't require a lot of like energy output. There's something you can do like breathing exercises. I love to dance to Hamilton. Like that's one of the things that I do if I'm feeling stuck energy. Then the entrees are things that are usually like an hour, maybe calling a friend on a phone, on the phone, going on a walk around your block, something like that to regulate your nervous system, like going out in nature and or doing yoga or anything to help you get out of that really intense, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this kind of energy. Is just thinking, okay, I know this is going to be a difficult task for me. So, how can I set myself up for success? How can I do something fun beforehand and something fun in the middle and something fun afterwards to kind of like treat yourself to a little reward? So, having a flexible list of things that you can do because we really need flexibility and like options. So it's not like habit stacking. I'm sure habit stacking works for people. I don't like it personally because I'm like, you're saying that I need to, every time I drink my water, that's when I need to like do this. I don't want to do that. Goes back to that demand avoidance that you're saying. So
Yeah.
instead, it's like a flexible menu. So I would encourage people to create a joy menu so that when they have a task that they don't want to do, they know, okay, I might need a little bit of extra love and self-care on this day. Another thing is motivating yourself with what your motivators are. So lots of people have different motivators. For me, I'm really motivated by a deadline. I know that if I have a deadline, it's gonna get done, and that may lead to some unhealthy things before the deadline. I might be procrastinating, but honestly, I just go with that and allow it to kind of be the case because that works for me. I get it done, it still happens, and I don't like to beat myself up too much and say, "Oh, you need to fit into this box where you're never procrastinating." No, procrastination is just kind of how I get stuff done.
Same. It's just what's worked for me my entire life.
Yes.
So, while it's not preferred by, like, our elementary teachers,
Yeah.
it's when I get super productive, and it's
I
not
mean,
normally trash that I put out either, so
I wrote an entire research paper in one night once. I'm not even joking, and I got an A. So, like, it's not that bad.
you got the positive feedback for
Yeah,
to continue to
yeah.
procrastinate, yeah, of course.
I know, terrible.
What
So
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
not
but
saying
whatever, it's working.
I'm not saying you should do that all the time. I'm saying that if you know that you're motivated by deadlines, for example, with editing weddings, I still do weddings with Stephanie. We also do some family sessions and couple sessions, and whenever we have a session, I know that if I tell them a day that they're gonna get the photos, they're gonna get the photos by that day because that's what motivates me.
Yep.
So I just make sure that I don't put like 3 sessions on the same day. I make sure that it's spaced out because I know I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm probably gonna procrastinate on this. So I don't wanna be burning myself out and stressing myself out. So I'm gonna be aware of the time that I need to get it done and not put too many things with one deadline. So deadlines are motivators for me. Also, body doubling and co-working is really huge for people with ADHD. So I highly recommend if you're like, I got to do my bookkeeping and I don't want to do it, I highly recommend getting with some of your other business friends and saying, hey, would y'all like to do a body doubling or co-working session where we get together and we do our books? And that also helps too. So yes, outsourcing is fantastic. It can be really, really wonderful to help you step into your CEO role. It does come with a lot of difficult tasks as well. So you just have to weigh what
Yeah.
are your options. Are there other ways that you can motivate yourself? Are there other ways that you can energize yourself and treat yourself afterwards? Rewards are very, very good for me. I love a little treat. So it's really all about what works for you when you have a difficult task, what has worked for you in the past, and what are the unhealthy sides of that that we can kind of mitigate and make sure that you don't end up with 17 galleries due in 1 week. Like, let's work on that. Set some
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't know that that's what it was called, but one of my best friends is a photographer, and we share our studio, and we will have editing days. She has ADHD too, and we'll have editing days where we just hang out in the studio and we edit simultaneously, and it helps. And it just and having a designated environment to do certain tasks helps me too. But
1,000%.
you said something though that caught my attention. You talked about the stuck energy, right? Dancing to get it through. And it made me think of this branding client that I have. And she is, gosh, it's a brand. It's a brand of, it might be called like Journey Dance or something like this. Are you familiar with this?
No.
The idea is a type of dancing to do to get back into flow state. And I'm half woo, half not, right? So like
Same.
I can get on board with that. I don't know if dancing would get me into like a productive working sort of flow state, but it sounds like it does for you. How do you help your clients, your coaching clients figure out what they need to do? Because flow is huge for us, right? But I think most of us have a lot, like very little control over when it happens. At least I have almost no control over when I'm in flow state, aside from things I can get at the pharmacy. But what how do you help your coaching clients figure out how to get themselves into flow and not or is that not something that we can work on?
I think you definitely can get yourself into flow. For me, it's more about asking figuring out when your natural flow states happen because we are very rhythmic creatures.
Mhm.
And a lot of people that I coach are women. And so we also have, a rhythmic cycle
Mhm.
every single month. We got our 28-day hormonal cycle. And there are naturally times where you're tired and gross feeling and you don't want to do anything. And there are naturally times when you are feeling super energetic and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my gosh, I cleaned my entire house. Like what happened?" So, it's really a lot of paying attention to those times that you're already going to be in a flow state. So, it's paying attention to what times of day you function better. What tasks kind of generally kickstart you into that flow state because I know that for me as much as I push back against structure and rigidity. I do know that when I go to the gym, when I shower and get dressed, and when I drink my coffee in the morning and I do those three things, I'm immediately more prepared for my day. So I know that if I have these routines that I follow, that's when I'm functioning at my best. So it's a lot of examining, okay, when when do you feel this energy that is more exciting to you and more in flow? So it really requires a lot of self-awareness. It requires you to notice what is happening to you rather than just kind of letting things happen to you without any type of noticing on your part. It requires a more active participation in your life rather than passively just letting things happen to you. So getting curious about, when do I feel anxiety? When do I feel calm? When do I feel energized and excited? And just kind of like noting. I'm not telling you to keep a log. I don't tell any of my clients to track because that is just a one-way ticket to feeling discouraged because you started really great at the beginning and then just fell off after 7 days. So it's just paying attention and starting to notice. And you'll start to notice, I've seen this with my clients, they'll start to notice, well, you know what? Yeah, I actually am more energized in the mornings. And I actually have noticed that I really enjoy doing these types of tasks at this time of the month. And I really need to do these types of tasks at this other time of the month. So paying attention to your natural states that you already are doing. And it also requires a little bit of time. Like you need time in your schedule and like buffer time. So some white space, some free time in order for you to even feel like you can step
Yeah.
into that state of awareness and curiosity versus just passivity and letting life happen to you. So it's a lot of paying attention, nervous system regulation, paying attention to your nervous system and what's happening. And then, okay, so now that we know that this happens to you, how can we kind of reverse engineer your business to fit into those states where you're already going to be in flow? So I do think it is possible to kind of kickstart your flow sometimes by doing your energizing tasks, by doing your routines that you know make you feel good, and by an energizing task that could be for me. If I go on and if I blog something, if I write something out and I'm really excited about that, naturally want to share it on my socials. So that's a task for me that is an energizing kickstart task. So that kind of kickstarts me into my workday, where then it's a much easier for me to get the other tasks done that I need to do. So I do not believe in eat the frog, like do the hard task first. I don't believe in that. I believe in do the fun task first, because then you'll be more in that state of like, oh, well, I'm here at my desk, I'm working, I might as well do this next. So paying attention to your energy management, nervous system regulation, and choosing to do the tasks that you know will energize you and motivate you and help you out. And finally, giving yourself the compassion like that you need when you're not in a state of flow, when you're feeling low energy, to just let that be the case and let that exist without it being any sort of moral judgment on you for being low energy today. Oh, I'm so low energy. I didn't get anything done. What a terrible day. No. You were low energy, and that's okay. What did you do to take care of yourself? Let's do that and celebrate what you did to take care of yourself.
And recognizing these patterns in yourself makes it so much easier to give yourself grace. I've come to find that a Monday, which is I think is pretty typical, is a low energy day for me. It's a day that I would love to be more productive, but I know I'm really just decompressing from everything that I did. I finally have a day alone. I'm like, or, until my kids get home from school, but I finally have that alone time to just decompress, and I'm probably not gonna get a whole lot done on Monday. Maybe I
Mhm.
will, but if I don't, this is normal. I will compensate later in the week and it's gonna be okay. This is such great advice. You're a busy person as it happens. And I know that you have other things to tend to. So can we turn the conversation more towards the Dream Biz Lab and what this program looks like? And it sounds really interesting. So enlighten us.
Yes, I would love to tell you about it. Thank you so much. I am really excited about the Dream Biz Lab. So this is my group coaching membership, and we meet every other week. It's a wonderful community of creative and neurodivergent humans. So not everyone is a creative there, but some people are. The only qualifier is that if you go to my webpage and you fit the vibes and you're like, yeah, this sounds fun to me. When you go to my webpage, you will notice that my branding is really wild and very colorful, and if that's your vibe, you're gonna fit right in. So we meet every other week, and week each month we have a focus, either on your vision, your operations, or your marketing. And the angle that I kind of take to each one of these is how can we bring more joy into your business in this area? So, how can we bring more joy into your vision, your long term goals? How can we bring more joy and fun and flexibility into your operations, your day to day of what that looks like? So, it's a lot of what we just talked about, figuring out what works for you and gives you a really, really great day to day. And then your marketing, how can we bring more joy into that so that it's fun and not overwhelming? So that you are creating like you would if you were a kid, outside building your fort or building your sandcastle or crocheting your blankets or making your paintings, whatever it was that kind of you were into as a kid. We try to tap into that energy. So we do that through biweekly meetings and also a private podcast. And I'm very excited because I am going to be attaching something to the lab coming up later this year called the Dream Biz Playground. And it's going to be a way for you to kind of take that joy menu idea that I was talking about, where you have a flexible menu of things to choose from, and apply that to your business. I'm very excited about it because as neurodivergent people, we need dopamine, we need fun, we need flexible structure. We need a structure, but we need options. So I don't want to reveal too much about that yet, but it's something I'm very excited that will be included in the lab going forward. So if you want to check that out, it's christijohnsoncreative.com/lab.
Christy
LAB.
with an I.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll link to that. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love the
excited.
playground. I love the branding. It is certainly appealing for somebody like me, and I'm sure many others. And is this like is your membership rolling enrollment? Can people join at any time, leave at any time, or
It's gonna open up again in January, but I in 2026, it's gonna be open enrollment. I decided to change that this year or for next year. So if you go to my page, you can sign up for the wait list, and because I know this is probably gonna come out in October. So if you go to my page, you can sign up for the wait list, and enrollment will open again in January, and then it will be open enrollment for 2026.
great? Yeah,
Yeah.
I will definitely link to that. I think it's amazing that you exist. That everybody. It took me too long to realize I needed a business coach, right? And I think
Same.
but the value and I'm just gonna expand on that. I think that in a business where it's so much this thing that we built on our own for relatively little money, that we may have learned different things for free to then transition into paying for something so intangible as
Mhm.
coaching.
Yeah.
Like, how do we even quantify this? Like, or how do we figure out if there's an ROI there? Um, I encourage anybody listening who has not taken on a mentor, a business coach, somebody who is at least 10% ahead of where you are, but not too far ahead either, to help you get to that next level. It's so imperative, it's so important, and the fact that Christy is somebody who specifically helps creatives who are also neurodivergent, like, if that is you, you would be cheating yourself if you didn't check out her colorful business page and website and see, about this program. I feel like you just gave away so much information and so much value for nothing, and I really appreciate you for that. Where can people find you? Where can they connect with you? All that good stuff, Christy.
Thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation, and I really appreciate you just having me on. And
Yeah,
everything you said about a coach, like, I echo too. My business changed so much when I took the finally hired a coach. It was way too
right.
long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, people can connect with me mostly on Instagram. That's where I hang out the most, and it's at Christi Johnson Creative, and it's Christi with an I, Christi, Christi Johnson Creative. I'm over there on Instagram. My website is christijohnsоncreative.com, and I'm also pretty active on Threads, and that's also at Christi Johnson Creative. So that's where you can hang out with me.
What do you do on Threads as a photographer?
Oh, I
I'm so
really
curious about
think
that.
that it is all about sharing your unhinged thoughts, really. Like,
Yeah.
the more you can I've noticed the more you can be real and be you and be, like, your quirky, weirdest self, that's really what the people vibe with over on Threads. You'll find your niche if you get real specific. You will
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah, the algorithm figured out who I am on there, and the shit that it feeds me is really not. I don't belong in that echo chamber anymore for my own
Oh,
sanity.
well,
Yeah,
I
it
feel
is.
that too.
All right, well, thank you so very much. I will link to everything that you talked about in the show notes for because I know people are going to want to learn more about you. Enjoy the rest of your October. Yes, this will air tomorrow. So, yeah, it will be October and people discover you. Thank you, Christy. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll have to talk again soon.
Thank you so much. You too.
Bye. So until next time, keep shooting, keep creating, and keep building the business that supports your dreams. Have a fantastic week. And remember, in the business of photography, your creativity is your biggest asset.